Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. All right? That was a nice one. Okay. I'm out here. Richard. Oh, wow. Wow. Will Smith just smacked the out of me.
Keep my wife's name out your mouth.
Wow, dude.
Yes.
It was a G.I. Jane joke.
Keep my wife's name out your mouth.
I'm going to, okay? Okay. That was a greatest night in the history of television. Okay.
So here's my defense of Will Smith. I suspect that something else was going on here. I suspect that perhaps Jada is dealing with something more than just an avant-garde hairstyle choice. Perhaps, and this is just speculation, perhaps she has cancer. The slap heard round the world.
Mr. Reagan.
Now, I am going to defend Will Smith in this video, but I'm also going to defend Chris Rock. And to be clear, I actually think that what Will Smith did was wrong and rather absurd, and yet I'm still going to defend him. But first, let me just say that this is a phenomenon that has become all too common in America. It's a cultural tragedy. It's an American tragedy. And it's something that nobody wants to talk about, but that we see every day. I'm, of course, talking about black-on-black violence. Okay, now obviously I'm joking. I'm making light of this rather amusing slap, the slap heard round the world. But was it as funny as we all think? We'll dig into all of this in one moment. First, I have to sell you something. So how is 2022 going for you so far? Good, I hope. It's been tough for many Americans. Many of us have woken up and smelled the roses. Some of us have smelled the coffee, and some of us have smelled a more pungent aroma. Okay, this metaphor is getting out of hand, but the point is that we have all realized how quickly time is rushing past. We're that much closer to retirement, and that much closer to not earning. But in the meantime, you've got some catching up to do. With crypto and the markets so risky right now and inflation running over 8%, what are you going to do with your money to keep up and to beat all of this? Well, you might want to talk to an expert over at Noble Gold and run through some of your options for keeping your money safe. No pressure, no hassle, no call centers. You just speak to somebody who knows what they're talking about for once. This month, Noble Gold is giving away a free 1/10 ounce solid gold American Eagle coin with every qualifying plan that you start. Call 877-646-5347 or visit noblegoldinvestments.com. That's noblegoldinvestments.com. So this was pretty funny. I mean, it seems funny. This was one very rich man slapping another very rich man for telling a joke about his wife. It's not about race, it's not about gender, it's not about Democrat or Republican or any of the typical political stuff that we cover on this show. But what is it about? Well, it's funny, I think, because it appears to be about ego. And it's not Will Smith's ego, but Jada's. And, you know, some might say Will Smith did the right thing. He defended his wife. Maybe. Now, I said that I would defend Will Smith in this video, and I will. But that's not exactly the defense that I'm going to present. And I would like to say that Chris Rock also needs some defending. Now, I appreciate that a man would walk up on stage, risk a lawsuit, risk getting arrested, risk the ire of his Hollywood friends, all to smack a man who insulted his wife. I respect that. But that's not exactly what happened. What happened was that Chris Rock made a joke that was kind of a roast, which is a kind of joke that sometimes stings a little, but a joke nonetheless, a joke about Jada Smith. Now, you may not understand the joke because I don't actually think the joke was very obvious, but the joke was essentially this. Chris Rock was making fun of Jada Smith's haircut. Not the nicest joke in the world, but also not the most cruel or vicious either. He says that he's looking forward to seeing Jada in her new film, G.I. Jane 2. Now, there is no G.I. Jane 2. He just made that up because Jada appears to have shaved her head. And in the film G.I. Jane, Demi Moore famously shaved her head. And at the time, in 1997, that was a pretty provocative thing to do, to see a beautiful woman shave her head for a film. Today, it's actually a pretty common look for leftists. And so that's what happened. Chris Rock made a reference to a 1997 film and suggested that Jada Smith, because of her haircut, would be acting in the sequel. To me, that's not that offensive. Now, an argument could be made that Chris Rock deserved to be slapped, not for criticizing Jada's haircut, but for making a joke that's so ridiculously dated. And I think Chris Rock would agree with me about that. But that's not why he was slapped. He was slapped because he dared poke fun at Jada's hair. Now, some give credit to Will Smith because he can clearly be seen laughing as Jada's face drops to a scowl.
G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it, all right?
And many people believe that Will Smith actually found the joke funny and only went up to defend his wife after he realized that she was not amused. And I think those who read the situation that way may be right. However, it's also possible that Will Smith let out an initial courtesy laugh, and a very convincing one, and then only after the camera cut away realized what the joke was and was also offended for his wife. It's very hard to know. I suppose Will Smith will explain this in the future, as he will surely be asked about it forever. But in any case, Will Smith got mad at Chris Rock and slapped him in order to defend his wife. Now, despite the fact that I don't think that the joke was particularly offensive, I do think that it could still be considered a noble thing to do, except I don't think Chris Rock was intending to offend. And that's the critical thing here. If somebody says something cruel or vicious about somebody else's wife, I can see a man justifiably defending his wife by slapping the offending man. And I think that we're all cool with that. But if a gentleman pokes a bit of fun at your wife's avant-garde hairstyle by referencing a similar haircut in a film, I'm not sure that one should assume that the intent was to be cruel or vicious. I don't think that this is reason enough to slap him. And I think most people agree with me. I think that what most people take from this is, wow, that guy is really sensitive. And in the case of Will and Jada, I think it indicates to people that they both have rather thin skin, or that they think themselves so magnificent that they should not suffer the slights of an insignificant clown like Chris Rock. That's what it seems like to many people, I think, who watch this. It's a bad look. It seems petty and rash. It seems as though these people can't control their emotions, or that they don't think they need to because they aren't burdened by the social constraints of mere mortals like the rest of us. In short, they seem either weak or arrogant or both, and none of those things look good. However, as I said at the beginning of this video, I would like to defend Will Smith for a moment. So here's my defense of Will Smith. I suspect that something else was going on here. I suspect that perhaps Jada is dealing with something more than just an avant-garde hairstyle choice. Perhaps, and this is just speculation, perhaps she has cancer. And if Jada Smith has cancer, and I don't know that she does, but if she's undergoing some kind of treatment in which she may be losing her hair, yeah, I can see Will Smith overreacting to that joke. I can see Jada getting offended. And maybe she doesn't have cancer, but maybe she's dealing with alopecia, or maybe she shaved her head in solidarity with somebody who is suffering from cancer, something like that. The point is that we don't know what else is going on. From the information we currently have, Will Smith way overreacted. But the truth is, we don't have all the information. And though I don't believe that what Will Smith did was appropriate in any case, if there's more to the story, and I think there probably is, I think I might understand the man. And Chris Rock, I'm going to guess, would understand too. But look, maybe his wife isn't suffering from some horrible ailment, and I hope that she's not. I hope Will Smith was being petty and awful and simply overreacted, and maybe his career will take a ding because of it. Okay, fine. Better than his wife having cancer, I say. And so I'm in this bizarre predicament where I actually hope that somebody was being an irrational and petty rich person. But I suspect that I'm wrong. We often imagine that actors and rich folk and people in the public eye are these larger-than-life fictional characters, that they're not really human. But they are human, and we don't usually think about the reality, which is that they deal with a lot of the same crap we do. They're human, and they suffer. So I feel bad for Will Smith. Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe he was just being an oversensitive Hollywood fruitcake. But maybe he really was being a good husband. And I think this kind of thing can help us recognize the humanity in those that are different than us. Black, white, man, woman, rich, poor, celebrity, non-celebrity, Democrat, Republican. We all suffer. It's the great tragedy of life that no one gets out alive. Well, that's it for me. And remember, never make fun of a bald woman's hair because she might have cancer.
You know, someone very profoundly once said that if fascism ever comes to America, it'll come in the name of liberalism. Fascism is private ownership, but total government control and regulation. Well, isn't this the liberal philosophy? The conservative, so-called, is the one that says, less government, get off my back, get out of my pocket, and let me have more control of my own destiny.